Once upon a time, in a faraway kingdom, there was a wise and powerful king who had 4 wives. He was known for his riches and his great kingdom, but as he grew older, he became ill. On his deathbed, the king reflected on his life and realized he was afraid of dying. He didn't want to journey into the unknown alone. So, he called upon his 4 wives one by one, asking each of them to accompany him to the afterlife. The 4th wife. The king loved his 4th wife the most. She was beautiful, adorned in the finest clothes, and he gave her the best of everything. Whenever he had a problem, he turned to her for comfort, and she was always there to lift his spirits. The king believed that she was his most beloved. When he was on his deathbed, he called her and asked, "My dear, I have always cherished you the most. I gave you the best of everything, and you brought me joy in life. Now that I am about to die, will you come with me to the afterlife?" The 4th wife looked at him with sadness but said, "I'm sorry, my king, but I cannot go with you. When you die, I will leave you and find someone else to be with." Her words pierced the king's heart like a sharp dagger. He felt devastated, realizing that despite all he had given her, she would not follow him into death. The 3rd wife. The king loved his 3rd wife almost as much as the 4th. She was ambitious, elegant, and he was very proud of her. He showed her off to other kings and queens, and she brought him much fame. The king called her to his side and said, "I have loved you dearly throughout my life. Will you follow me into the afterlife?" The 3rd wife paused, then replied, "No, my king, I cannot. I will remain here and remarry after your death." The king was heartbroken. The thought of her remarrying after he was gone filled him with sorrow, but he had no choice but to accept her answer. The 2nd wife. The king's 2nd wife had always been there for him. She was wise, and whenever he was in trouble, she helped him solve his problems. She was loyal and gave him good counsel throughout his reign. He asked her, "You have always been my closest confidant and helped me through so many challenges. Will you now accompany me into the afterlife?" The 2nd wife sighed and said, "I am sorry, my king. I cannot go with you. But I will arrange your funeral and honor your memory." Though her words offered some comfort, the king was still saddened. While she would honor him in death, she would not be by his side in the afterlife. The 1st wife. The king's 1st wife was the one he had long forgotten. She had always been with him, ever faithful and supportive, but he had neglected her over the years, taking her for granted as he focused on his other wives. On his deathbed, with no hope left, the king called her and asked, "My dear wife, I have neglected you throughout my life, but you were always loyal. Will you come with me to the afterlife?" The 1st wife smiled gently and said, "I will go with you, my king. I will follow you wherever you go, even into the afterlife." The king was moved to tears. He realized too late that this was the wife who truly loved him and was loyal to him even in death. The moral of the story. In this story, each of the king's 4 wives represent something we hold in life. The 4th wife represents our possessions and wealth. No matter how much we love and cherish them, they will not accompany us in death. When we die, they will move on to others. The 3rd wife represents our status and reputation. While we may be proud of it and show it off during our life, it will not follow us into the afterlife. Others will take our place when we are gone. The 2nd wife symbolizes our family and friends. While they are there for us in life and may care for us when we die, they cannot accompany us beyond the grave. They can only honor our memory after we are gone. The 1st wife represents our soul. Though we may neglect it in life, it is the only thing that will follow us into the afterlife. It is the only part of us that remains after death. The story reminds us to care for our soul, as it is the most important part of who we are, something that will be with us forever.